Hello, welcome to the Big Buck Training channel. That's what this is called, right? I don't know. This is like my first actual try to YouTube video, so please bear with me. I have a lovely background here of a curtain. But what I wanted to dive into today, this is not sponsored by Starbucks, by the way, is Macros 101. So let's dive on in. All right. Number one, why do we track macros? Why do we want to do this? Well, I can give you a couple of reasons here. So number one, it tells us how much gas is in the tank, okay? How much fuel and energy are we throwing at you? And what is that output? So what is your energy like? What is your stress like? What is your hunger like? These are all factors that we want something stable. We want consistency, and that brings me to my next point. It gives us less variables. So just knowing exactly what you're taking in, it really helps you kind of be a little more strategic with your protocol and making sure that we get to your goals in an efficient way. So that's kind of a little reason. It's similar to say you're trying to get your finances in shape, okay? What would you do? You make a budget, right? You figure out how much money do I have coming in and how much money do I have going out. All right? So we want to figure out how much food we have coming in. And then, go ahead and do our exercise, our step goal, our cardio goal, and see, what works well. What's getting us some good results? What is making us not miserable and actually having a good life? So that's just a little background of why we track macros. Or maybe you're not doing macros. Maybe you're doing calories in a protein goal. It's the same thing. We still want to have consistency, and macros is the most, the most consistent that you can get with tracking food. So let's dive into that as well a little bit. So what are macronutrients? You've got 3 of them. Well, technically alcohol is one, but we won't cover that in Macros 101. But there are 3. There's fat, carbs, and protein. So for every gram of carb, it's 4 calories. For every gram of protein, it's 4 calories. For every gram of fat, it is 9 calories. You don't need to memorize that or anything like that, but that is probably why there's all those myths out there about fat making you fat and whatever. No, it's because smaller portion sizes equal more calories, so it's easier to overeat fat. That's all. It's not actually making you fat or anything like that. So what do they actually help you with though? So carbs, they help you with your energy levels, and they also contain fiber, especially, veggies, fruits, legumes, whole grains. That's going to have your fiber, right? So what fiber does is it does increase your satiety, which means just keeping you fuller longer. That's why we love carbs, okay? Gives you energy, keeps you full longer if it's, a high fiber carb, not a quickly digesting carb. And it also, fiber helps with constipation. Yes, I'm reading off my notes here. It lowers your risk of heart disease. It lowers your cholesterol, and it regulates glucose. So fiber is your friend. We love fiber. I know that I have some girls on the team that struggle to get fiber and some that struggle to get it down. So I'm in the camp right now where I'm struggling to get my fiber down. I'm eating too much fiber. So that can also cause digestion stuff or whatever. So I think a good goal just for most of us to shoot for would be 20 grams of fiber. That's a good goal. So if you're within 20 to 30 grams, you're sitting pretty. All right. Mine was hiking up into the 40s. So, anywho, that's carbs. That's what they do for you. We love them. Carbs are not bad. So fat, what does fat do? So it helps regulate your hormones Fat also helps increase your satiety as well. So I think you might be seeing here, and I'm trying to paint a little picture of why it is so important to have a well-balanced meal. And make sure you have a fat, a carb, and a protein in your meal. And, hopefully one of your carbs is a vegetable. But, okay, I'm not going to put vegetables on my oatmeal, but you get what I'm saying. That most of your meals are going to have some kind of veggie in them as well. So fat also regulates the excretion of nutrients, and it helps with insulation of the cells. And last but not least, it slows your digestion. That's why it keeps you full. It slows things down. We like to feel satiated, right? Who wants to be hungry all the time? Not me. Even if I'm trying to lose weight, that might be a factor that my hunger is going to be up a little bit, right? But I'm not like absolutely starving myself, or like I eat something and 5 minutes later I'm hungry again. We don't want that. We don't want all that noise. Okay, so then we got protein, which protein, we all know, helps to build muscle, and it does also help with satiety. It also repairs tissue and helps give you energy. So the repairing of tissue, that's really where the muscle like building comes down to, is because you're breaking down your muscles when you're lifting, and the protein is going to help build them back up. So we like that. Next up, so how do I track anything in MyFitnessPal? Well, let me help you out here. So I'm going to scoot over, and hopefully right here, you'll be seeing a little graphic of MyFitnessPal. All right. So number one, I highly recommend using the scan function. So you can scan food with your phone, scan it in using the barcode on the food item, and just double check it with the back of, with the nutrient guide or the nutritional information, and make sure that it's correct. Because sometimes you can scan it in and something crazy pops up. Like, I think one time I was trying to scan, I don't know, like pancake mix, and it kept coming up with like gummy bears or something. I'm like, no. So sometimes those be crazy. Make sure it's correct before you enter it in. Also, you can search for a food. I like to type in, let's say I'm trying to find like Banza pasta. So I'll make sure I type in like Banza pasta. I'll look for it. And I want to pick one that has the increments of measurement that I want. So for instance, maybe I want grams. Okay, so I'm going to make sure whichever one I choose that it's going to give me the option for grams. And then how I just real quickly check if this is if this information's all correct. I will look at the nutritional information from Banza and look at my MyFitnessPal with the full serving size. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to eat that exact serving size, but it just gives me a good basis to look at and make sure that the information is right that I'm entering in. You can also, find different restaurants and stuff on there that are already pre-populated. So that's pretty cool too. But I also I just like to check the websites beforehand, like Chipotle, Starbucks, Panera, they all have nutritional guides galore on their websites. So little pro tip for you there, but that's might be a little down the line. All right. So when we are tracking food, we also want to weigh it on a scale. Now, I remember when I used to think this was so extreme. I thought that this was absolute craziness and that people were obsessive. Well, if you want to learn portion sizes and just have accuracy, it is very important to do it in this way and learn what things, what portion sizes look like. You would be shocked at what you think is 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, and actually you're eating 700 calories of peanut butter. So this is a tool to help us learn what each of these things look like. Okay, how much is a cup of this item of cereal? It's not a lot, just to break the bad news to you, but how much is, how much am I actually eating for peanut butter? So because tracking is not going to be your whole life, but it gives you a really good foundation also to understand what nutrients what macros are in foods that you're eating. And that way, when you have, maybe in your program, we're going to give you an intuitive eating day, you can kind of already say, okay, I know where my protein's going to come from. I know where my carbs are coming from. I know where my fat's coming from. Boom, boom, boom. It's all set. So this is really a tool to guide you. And with that being said, you don't always have to eat whatever the serving size is on the box. You don't always have to just eat the, 4 ounces of chicken. You can eat 6 ounces of chicken. You can eat 2 ounces of chicken. I know this sounds crazy, but like, I really didn't understand that. I thought that, like, okay, there's no way I can calculate that. It needs to be a serving size. No, you can just weigh it and it's fine. Cool. So that is a little bit about how we are going to track everything. So now, setting our macros. I do recommend getting the MyFitnessPal Pro. I think it's only like $50 for a full year. And if it's a tool that you're using every single day, that's so cheap. Like, I can't do the math in my head right now, but it's very cheap per day, like what you're paying for. And I like this because, one more sip. Okay, so I like the premium version because there's a lot more you can do with it, and you can make sure you're macro focused. So this is how we set a goal. Go into your MyFitnessPal. You can even, on the premium version, do different goals by day. So what I like to do is I like to have one day already like ready for my free meal, like everything's calculated. We'll go over that at some other point, what a free meal entails. And then I also like to have like my other day put in there. And I've done it before, like, with my coach. It especially helped on those times when I would get refeed meals. So maybe like it's a higher carb day, or maybe it's just like when I was in prep and it was like my calories just kept going up as I went. So it was nice to just have it all set and I don't have to think about it every single day. Okay. So this is kind of how you set up, your macro goals that are given to you. And if you are given a calorie and a protein goal, that's fine. You're just going to put in your protein, and then you're going to just toggle around the fat and carbs until you hit whatever your calorie goal is. So don't overthink it. And a reminder too that macronutrients are calories. So don't get, if you are doing macro tracking, don't get super discouraged if you see that like the calories aren't completely correct. I will go over that at a different point in time, but just a little forewarning here because that's something that I get a lot. Okay, I'm going to give you a few tips here. These are some of my favorite tips for like beginners to MyFitnessPal. Number 1, if you are making a recipe, I definitely recommend using the recipe option. So you're going to go into like meals, foods, recipes, hop in there. You can either upload it from the web if you're making a recipe from like, a Pinterest recipe online or whatever. So you would just paste the link in and it'll import the ingredients for you. Once again, it's an imperfect system, so just double check everything. Or you can type it all out yourself of whatever recipe you're making. And when you go ahead and, push the next button, it's going to just confirm, hey, these are all the ingredients, right? And you're going to be like, yep, everything's good. Or you're going to be like, nope. And so if you click on the ingredient, you go in, you can search for a new ingredient and make sure it's on there, all set. Then when you go to the next page, it will ask you how many servings this is. So you can do this one of 2 ways. First way you can do this is you can just be like, okay, I know how big, because we don't need to be completely perfect, right? But you know how big of a slice of this casserole you're going to eat, right? And there's 8 slices of casserole or whatever, portions of casserole. So you'd put 8 portions. You've got your casserole all cut up into your 8 slices. You're good to go. You could also weigh the dish before you bake everything. Put it all in, bake it, bring it out, weigh it after, whatever the difference is, and whatever you weigh it in, like say you do it in ounces, whatever the difference is, that's your what you put as a serving size. So when you go to like take it out of the fridge and warm it up and eat it, you can weigh it, and then you just put, like say it weighs, I don't know, 6 ounces. Okay, serving size, 6. Boom. Like you put, it's going to say 1 serving, but you put 6 for how many servings you're having. Hope that made sense. Okay, good. Moving on. Number 2, if you struggle to kind of fit your protein in and get everything in, throughout your day, or maybe you're like low on calories, or you hit one goal, but you're way under in another, plan the night before, okay? Or plan first thing in the morning. And that way you have your meals already all set out. You don't have to think about it, and you can just grab and go. You don't have to like toggle things around all crazy playing Tetris in MyFitnessPal. I've done that before and it's not super fun. So that can kind of help you to alleviate just that stress of like, I don't know how I'm going to do this and get this all fit in into my day. So track the night before. All right. Number 3, have some daily staple go-to meals. All right. And these are meals that you love it. You want to eat it every day. And it's kind of nice because you can, number 1, you can save meals in MyFitnessPal. Scoot over because I'm going to try to put some kind of graphic here. You can save meals in MyFitnessPal. You can copy meals over from the previous day to the next day. And it's just a lot simpler for your brain and your body. Your body's going to like it too. And see, I love variety and I do eat different stuff like, pretty consistently, but I have my staples. I pretty much eat the same pre-workout. It's either oats with protein powder and peanut butter, or it's rice cakes with PB Fit and chocolate chips. I eat the same post-workout breakfast. It's toast with avocado, Laughing Cow cheese, and egg. And then I eat the same night macro cap, which is like a cream of rice bowl with yogurt, peanut butter, edible cookie dough, and frozen blueberries. So those 3 meals, I don't have to think about. Like, it's actually so nice because that's preset throughout the day. So I highly recommend doing that. Number 4, track your protein first. So figure out, what are my protein sources for the day? What am I going to be eating? Is it egg whites? Is it whole eggs? Is it ground beef, turkey, yogurt? The list can go on. Pre-track that first and then build your meals around it. Could be tuna. I don't know. Anyways, I can go on and on about protein sources if anybody's having trouble coming up with them, because the American diet is very carb and fat heavy. It's very low protein. So I completely understand that it's hard when you first start out to hit that protein goal, because that is not, at least not what I was raised on. I was raised on like honey buns, ding dongs, pizza Lunchables, nacho Lunchables, frozen White Castles, frozen Stouffer mac and cheese. So I get it. I totally do. It's really hard, but once you start, it's like a no-brainer, and you're gonna like be floored by how much better you feel with the, just a little bit regulated fat and carbs, and with like more protein, and just how much fuller you're going to feel. It's gonna be amazing. I believe in you. Number 5, you can edit the number of meals that you have for the day and also edit the names. So I'll put that little graphic back up, and you would just go into like your premium features. Once again, you can choose how many meals you want. I personally have 6 meals set up in my day. You do not need to eat 6 meals, but maybe if you eat, a breakfast, lunch, and dinner and 2 snacks, you'd want 5. But for my meals, I have like pre-workout, post-workout, then I have a snack, a lunch, another, maybe like my supplements or something I put in there, and a macro cap, and maybe there's something else. I don't know, a smoothie. So it's really up to you how many meals you typically like to eat throughout the day, and you can name them whatever you want. Number 6, for the Big Buck training team, I do suggest that we try to come within 10 grams of each macro. Okay. So the more you get acclimated with it though, feel free to try to get a little closer, try to, like we say, 000 or zero it out on MyFitnessPal. It's just saying that you hit all of your goals. But I am in no way, shape, or form expecting perfection. And it's, it's not completely necessary. But like I said, if that makes you happy and it doesn't stress you out more, all for it. Go for it. And tip number 7, do not ever use the calories burned function where it subtracts the amount of calories that you burned, because our watches, our smartphones, they're also imperfect. They're going off of, they just have an algorithm going off of your height, your weight, your heart rate, and it's not 100% accurate. And also, we don't have to burn anything, like burn energy, burn fat, burn blah, 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 to earn our food. So no need to do that. We are just going to eat consistently regardless of how much energy we've expended that day. So, you don't deserve more or less food on a rest day either. So make sure you ixnay that. We don't need it. Well, I hope that you all enjoyed this little macro 101 guide. Please let me know. You can either, my email, put it on Facebook, comment on this video, what have you, with any other questions that you have. I'm going to be also doing a macro 201 video next, so please give me any insight that you have. All right, well, until next time, see ya.